Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is December 20th, 2020. Happy holidays, everyone.
And that is your SPAC lighting behind you, Ivan, right?
Yes. Every time there is a new SPAC, I add a light.
S1. Yeah, every time there's a SPAC S1 filed, Ivan's lights go off. You can see it's quite a Christmas.
Exactly. How was your week?
It's hectic. It's a little boring making money every day.
Golf is so hectic, right? Playing golf is hectic.
Hey, listen, big shot. You stick to the swing trading, not the jokes. It is a little boring just with the market doing exactly what you want every day. Actually, it never gets boring, correct?
It's never boring. There's always something going on. Definitely last week we saw so many breakouts, but also so many reversals, at least intraday, which to me shows that market participants are a little bit angsty and just in a rush to take profits, because we saw like a lot of stocks, like let me give you like a couple examples. For example, Sunrun, like breakout on Friday, finishing near the lows, and several other similar examples where we saw breakouts that didn't really follow through immediately, but also didn't break down. So there's definitely a strong underlying bid in the market. But there's also a little bit more volatility than usual. We're starting to see an uptick in volatility, more profit taking, more short-termism, I would say, in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And last week was a kind of momentum rush, because so many different sectors and industries went up. Software was super hot, and it wasn't only because of cybersecurity. All the cybersecurity stocks went up like 20-30%. But as you can see, the entire IGV, the entire tech software index, it was just up every single day last week. It's going parabolic in a little.
So it's 160. So it's pretty much it's doubled. The whole index, the software index, has doubled off the lows.
Yeah.
And cloud index is up like 200% off the lows.
Anything software is super hot. You can see the acceleration in the huge volume here
It's just a reminder with the Russian news and kind of the threats by Trump about a new election and Russia hacking, but it's real, and those are
There's so many cybersecurity ETFs right now. I think there are more ETFs than stocks actually. And,
the only one I own, I've talked about it, RPD. I've talked about that one. That broke out at 70 the last couple of weeks and then just took off.
Yeah.
And that one's a little bit of a tighter base, but like PANW, I kind of had given up on that, but that just took off. PANW.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the leaders, everybody owns CrowdStrike, CRWED, not everyone, but people that follow the space. And then there's Zscaler, ZS. It's endless. It's a party time.
Yeah, the only cybersecurity name
that's up 700% from the March lows.
But the only cybersecurity name that hasn't broken out yet, and I don't know if it because their technology sucks or just the market has forgotten about it, is Checkpoint. It's just
it's just older tech, and everybody's kind of gone by it. I'd played it a little bit last year. You can't play the laggard at this point. I mean, you can, and there's sloppy investing.
So either catch up or just remain sideways. So.
Or if the market rolls over, that thing will get killed. So,
yeah.
A little late in the. I think you got to stick with tech. The bank. So they got the stimulus tonight.
Yep.
The question is, was that priced in? They came out Friday and said the banks can just cheat again. So that's a good sign, because nobody was doing well with the banks not cheating. So now they get to cheat again. So those were all up, 4 or 5% after the close on Friday. So it's just, take your pick. I think people just have to be, it's a behavioral science festival in the markets. Everybody's talking about SPACs. Everybody's talking about IPOs. And so you got to enjoy it. I mean, there's no reason to just hate on this rally. It's just, the markets are luring everybody in. How are you playing it?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of extended stocks at this point, where I wouldn't chase, but there's also, I still see quite a few interesting setups that I would like to take.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I just continue to play it. I still see setups.
Look at Netflix setting up. Disney was, Netflix setting up.
Netflix, yes, definitely setting up. Even Amazon, Visa, the old guards are also kind of setting up.
Nike broke out on Friday. They announced earnings.
Another one, kind of might trade another.
Oh yeah.
There is a very interesting new IPO. It's a British company that deals with psychedelics, mushrooms. Since it seems that more and more states are making those legal. It might be the next.
Yeah, OTRK is the US version that I've.
OTRK. Yeah, it's actually my momentum portfolio. This one.
It looks very strong that I've been playing, just myself trading. I don't like giving out names on this type of market because I'm still trying to do work on the companies. This will probably become a very behavioral this will become like a hot thing. I'm seeing a lot of ads on podcasts. Besides manscaping, I'm seeing a lot of mental health ads. Podcasting kind of a leading edge for who's probing customer acquisition. And this has just kind of been a hot topic. Obviously, the genetic stocks on fuego.
Yeah.
And I don't have any new ideas. Look at these are like massive gains, and I own CRSP, and then they're just going sideways and digesting it.
Exactly.
Those are it's just bull market behavior. You can forgetting valuations because that's been a joke. It's been kind of a joke for, I don't know, 10 years. So this is just a behavioral, can you manage risk type market, right? And I think this is why people adore you, is you just kind of just managing the what's in front of you. I'm too old, so I'm just 50-50. But it's fun. It's even Apple's setting up again. And I think about Apple, I'm like, wasn't the iPhone dead to the analysts 4 years ago? And now we're going to end COVID. There's going to be a fucking celebration of upgrades. And really, Apple's the only company people trust. They're the only ones sticking it to Facebook around data. As much as we think that we don't like Tim Cook or Apple, they're the only ones that could stand up to Facebook around data with the phone and gating the. So I don't know. These giants are all fighting each other. You got Disney taking on Netflix. You got Amazon taking on everybody. You got Shopify broke out, one of my favorites. Disney's taking, look at that breakout that Disney's holding. Shopify's holding another breakout.
All the e-commerce plays are looking amazing, like Etsy. I think as of right now, Etsy is the best performing stock on the S&P 500, obviously.
So 30, it's up. Yeah, it's up 6 times from the bottom. So it's all the e-commerce are up 6-7 times from the bottom. Farfetch, Stitch Fix doesn't go down anymore. The same ones I've been talking about. I don't know.
Exactly. Starting Monday, Tesla is being added to the S&P.
What is Tesla? Yeah. So I don't know. More of the same. Next week we may have a little more information. This is a seasonally great time. Oh, that Revolve, you were like that. You liked that one. I was shitting on it.
Yeah, it's the same space. It's just doing well.
That's a great run. You were looking at that in the low 20s. Nice. Do you own that?
A little bit.
Okay, a little bitsy.
The social distancing stocks continue to do well. See Peloton bounce.
Yeah.
the all-time highs.
Lulu doing well, even though it's like no one's in the stores. God
Yeah.
bless.
So it's very interesting. Like when I walk on the streets in San Diego, I kind of noticed that like women in their 30s and 40s are still wearing like Lulu, like leggings, but the younger women, like teenagers, like in their early 20s, are starting to wear jeans. So I checked up. Let's check on Levi's to see
Look at you.
how is their stuff doing.
Oh my goodness. Look at you. I think you had scripted that little tap on the back there, Ivan. Do you own Levi's? And it's not Levi's.
I don't. That's why I noticed that yesterday.
You're assuming they're a Jewish company, and there's not. It's Levi.
Levi.
Anybody. It's not Levi's. That was a racist ticker quote there. The Levi's. No, delicatessen. If this was a delicatessen, this would be Levi's. This is a jean company. It's called Levi's. Jews don't make jeans. All right, let me just think what else is out there. Really intrigued by this Apple kind of, I mean, had that massive spike over the summer, Apple, and digested it really well.
Obviously, the US dollar is a big reason why so many assets are going higher. And it's not just
Stone and Pags and Melly are the ones.
Yeah, and anything payments related. It's also done really well. But interest rates are going higher.
Oh my goodness, this is one that I've written from the bottom. Yeah, Stone. Pags looks great too.
Yeah, definitely great week for Pags.
Yes, it's a good week.
A lot of strength. Emerging markets, US markets. There's definitely.
Yeah, you can see a 30% pullback. We're still in a freaking uptrend. So I don't know. Just understand what you would do if we were down a quick 25%, because we'd still be in an uptrend. And if you don't have powder dry, you're going to be freaking out. So, it's fun to press I would say it's fun to press it here, but at the same time, remember, what would you do if we go back to Stone, for example, it's a payments company. People ask me, and I'm like, all right, this thing could drop to 60 and be in a massive uptrend, right?
Yeah.
So, you've got to understand your field position, because you're not going to be comfortable if you buy it tomorrow and it suddenly drops to 65. So one thing to ride some trends, it's another thing to understand what you would do if we drop 25, 30%. Okay, I mean, there's nothing to do here. They're printing money. They're going to send out checks again. We've got a big election in 2 weeks. Markets acting like they know exactly everything's going to be perfect. In Phoenix, the malls are busy. So golf courses are busy, malls busy. I'm talking to a lot of frontline workers that I know that have gotten the vaccine, and I have a lot of friends in the VC business. They're not putting up their hand, but if they have a chance to take the vaccine, they will. That's interesting. You would think that would be stronger, huh?
Yeah, definitely. It's not as strong as it could be if the market is really expecting going back to normal, but
it's interesting. The cloud stocks are still doing the best. What about Jets? Where's that airline ETF?
Jets. It had a little pullback to its rising 20 days. So this is if it's gonna bounce, this is the place, for a bounce.
All right. So, and then the other one, I'd say Activision broke out. That's the one that I own personally.
Yeah, all the gaming stocks are doing really well.
What
was the new one? The skills.
Yeah, that was FEAC that I owned. Yeah. Again, I'd stick with the Activisions, the Take-Twos.
EA.
Yeah, the bets ETF. These kids that I know have done a good job building a gaming. And then there's Nerd, NERD, which I recommend to people who just don't know gaming and want to have access to this stuff for esports. So you can see, but again, these things are all assuming stocks just go straight up. So yeah, this is my favorite weed ETF. As I talked about this in the 20s, a couple for the last 2 months. I wouldn't add to it up here, but you can just see that these are the U.S. multi-state operators. Anyways, well, is there anything going down, Ivan?
The market is so strong that even Luckin Coffee, do you remember Luckin Coffee?
It went to 10. I was just
It
appalled.
doubled and tripled. Like, I mean, they settled with the SEC. They're going to pay like 150 million in fine, and their stock.
And basically, that's the price. You can commit outright fraud, pay the SEC $180 million.
I can pull it up here. I'm not sure what's the symbol. Looking something, maybe not on MarketSmith, but on.
It's LKN something.
UYC. I don't think you can pull up pink sheet stocks here, but you can check it up on your broker. I think it went from like it tripled last week. And I think they didn't even have to cheat when they did last year, earlier this year.
Yeah, if you have coffee and you're cheating, and you're going to buy their stock after, I mean, it's just people need to be smart. There's Disney, there's Nike, there's Apple. I'd look at Snapchat. These companies are just executing. Like, you don't have to get fancy. Even Twitter, the dog of dogs, is Nike was at all-time highs after the market. Even Twitter, which I bought just a schmuck insurance they get in the low 50s. How does that not go? That is like a perfect setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's gone. That's $70, $80 stock. I mean, and I hate it. Like, it's poorly run business. I don't know. One day we'll look back and we'll know there was like 1,000 signs. But right now, if you're short the market, you literally should, well, you're probably broke. And you really, you really just don't understand how markets work. At the same time, behaviorally, we will look back and go, what the hell were we thinking? So you have to be able to separate making money from like the mood and the behavior. So it's a pretty interesting moment in time.
Yeah, definitely. We're starting to see a lot of people that were never interested in the stock market are starting to buy stocks, but that doesn't mean it's going to end tomorrow.
It doesn't mean it's going to end. And I say this all the time, whether it's a caddy, the questions that I get are not like YOLO questions. They're like, okay, like I want to be Warren Buffett. Like all these TikTok kids, they're looking to be moguls. They're not looking to be they know that this is like a long-term game. So that they're learning. And 99 and 08 were very different. 08 was a lot of leverage, right? 99 was a bubble because the companies were not real. 2020, you have these incredible companies. Yes, they're overvalued. You have these incredible tools that give people access to the market. And then you have the cloud, which, and the iPhone, which I don't know how you value those things. But man, Ivan, those charts, the rate of ascent logarithmically, I don't know. If I was just getting long tomorrow, I'd be prepared to be down 30, 40% in the next year and a half at some point. But it could be from 50% higher, and that part I don't know.
Well, I think even if there's correction, and typically every single year we see at least a 10% correction, there are signs before that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see even the strongest index, the cloud computing, stayed above its 200-day from 16 until 19. So from 2016, and then it really, now we're so stretched from that 200-day moving average. And so
everything is.
Yeah, and that's what scares me. I mean, that's just basic, simple math that generally comes into play every 2 or 3 years. And so those green lines will start kicking up because we've gone up so fast, but like the best times to buy are when we're near the 200-day moving average on the leading indexes. So for those people chasing today, do not be surprised when, when we touch these 200-day moving averages, but it could come from 30%. If I was going to say anything, Ivan, it would be that the Russell could really go, right?
Just broke out, yeah.
It just feels like it's underperformed for so long. And then I think commodities could surprise a lot of people, right? Like Bitcoin's the rage, but commodities could surprise a lot of people.
Basically, what, 13 years of building a base?
Yeah, especially if the US dollar just continues to implode.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what's happening.
Yeah. And that's why I have some exposure. And I'm looking at GLD. Like, I mean, other than Bitcoin, I don't know how else to play commodities. But
emerging market is a good way to have exposure.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Enough free advice. All right. I hope you have a good week.
All right, you too.
See you, everybody.
Bye.